Alright, so circumference, remember circumference is the distance around the circle. Like if we were to build a fence, go around the circle. Circumference of the circle is determined by the length of the radius and the value of pi. So here are two different formulas, 2 pi r and pi times d. Alright, so next definition is the arc length, is now the distance. Now before, in the previous unit, before spring break, we talked about this was like a degree, it was like 53 degrees or something like that. But now this is going to be the arc length, so it's going to be the length, like 7 feet. It's going to be something more like this now, instead of being about angle measurements. So that's the difference between that and what we talked about in the last unit. Alright, so we're going to find circumference in this. So circumference is 2 pi r. We know the radius is 7 in this problem, so 2 times pi times, oops, we don't do that, 7. So just take your calculator, make sure you're using pi in your calculator, not using 3.14, that might mess things up. And I want you to round, so 43 point, it came out to be 982, we're going to round that up to 44 feet. Since it's circumference, it's not feet squared, just feet. Alright, so over here, circumference is 2 times pi times 10, we're going to get, it comes out to be 62.8, so we'll just do 62.8 meters for this one. Over here, its circumference equals 2 times pi times 4.5. I'm going to go back, 4.5. It's just going to give me 28.3 yards right there. Alright, so this problem, please don't do this. That's wrong. You want to make sure that you're doing 2 pi r, so it's 2 times pi times 6. The diameter in this problem is 12, but the radius in this problem is 6. So, we're going to get, we'll say 37.7 miles. There you go. Alright, so remember circumference is 2 pi r, but there is another formula, or circumference equals diameter times pi. So you can actually just take 6 times pi. So if I took 6 times pi, it can be 18.8. It's the same. If you took 2 times pi times 3, it would be the same thing as 2 times 3 is 6. Same thing over here. Let's just take 24. 75.4. You're just going to take 24 times pi. There you go. Alright, so always important what you know. This one is the radius is 8.5. This one on the right is the diameter equals 14.2. So here we're going to take 2 times pi times 8.5. So let's do that. 2 times pi times 8.5. We're going to get 53.4. Over here is something going to take 14.2 times by pi. 14.2 times by pi. Oops. 14.2 times pi. You get 44.6 miles. This is inches. And there we go. Alright, so we've done problems like this in the past in Unit 6, but we got circumference equals 2 pi r. So if we got, we don't know the radius. Circumference is 48 pi. So let's plug in what we know. 48 pi equals 2 times pi times r. We can cross off the pi's, and all we have to do is divide by 2. And we get r is 24 feet. Same thing on the bottom. We're going to get radius we don't know. Circumference is 64 pi. And then we do 64 pi equals 2 times pi times r. Eliminate the pi's. Divide by 2. So r equals 32 feet. Alright, so if you remember, circumference is pi times d as well, because it's asking for the diameter. So if it's pi times d and they left it like this, that's easy. Diameter equals 25, and diameter equals 65 here. It's just the number in front. Alright, so we talked about circumference, now let's talk about area. Area is pi r squared. Pretty simple. We've used this formula actually before in Unit 6, at the end of Unit 6, but this is just talking about, again, pi r squared. Alright, so this is something I've talked about back in Unit, I think it was 8, Unit 8, right before spring break. It was the sector. I talked about that as the slice of the pizza. It's the part of the circle enclosed by 2 radii, so what that means is these 2 lines right here, these are 2 radii and their intercepted arc. So it's the pie-shaped part of the pizza. That's the red portion. It's kind of like part of the pizza slice. Alright, formula is area equals pi times r squared, so this is pi times 9 squared, so pi times 9 squared is going to give me 254.4 yards. Now we're going to put yards squared. When you multiply, that's when it comes out to be. So pi times 3.8 squared. 3.8 squared. I'm going to get 45.4 yards squared. Alright, so my radius in the left one is 12, so area equals pi times 12 squared. It's going to give me 452.4 centimeters squared. This one, once again, radius is 5.3, so area equals pi times 5.3 squared. 5.3 squared. 88.2 meters squared. There we go. Alright, so the difference between circumference and area is area you must use the radius. In circumference it doesn't really matter because you can either take pi times the diameter or 2 pi times the radius. So this one you must find. So radius in this one is 8.4. It's half of that. So area equals pi times 8.4 squared. 4 squared. And the left one will give me 221.7 inches squared. Left one, my radius is 7, so area equals pi times 7 squared. 7 squared. It's going to give me 153.9 kilometers squared. Alright, so identify what you have in the left one. You actually have the diameter, so you must divide that number by 2. My radius is actually 3.7, so then I can plug it in. Area equals pi times 3.7 squared. So that's pi times 3.7 squared. I get just straight up 43 centimeters squared. This one, this is my radius, so that's area equals pi times 8.8 squared. I get pi times 8.8 squared. I get 243.3 kilometers squared. And there we go. Find the radius. Okay, so once again, area. When they do this, they're going to make it nice and not put in decimal form, so that means radius we do not know. Area equals 49 pi. So that means 49 pi equals pi times x squared. We can eliminate the pi's. And then we simply just square root. So that means radius equals 7. Same thing down here. We don't know radius. We know the area is 81 pi. So that means 81 pi equals pi r squared. Cross off the pi's, and you just simply square root. So the bottom one, r is 9. Alright, it's important to pay attention when these problems are asking us to find the circumference. So you must find the radius first. So remember, you have to know the area equals pi r squared, and circumference equals 2 pi r. So in each problem, you must find the radius first. So in this problem, that's 169, that's pi r squared equals 169 pi, which means I cross off the pi's, and I square root it. So that means my radius is 13. I'm not done yet. I would plug it back in. So since they started with a pi in the answer, I'm going to have 1. So my circumference is 2 times pi times 13. So that means my answer is 26 pi. There we go. Now the second one we're doing it the other way around. If I'm given here, that means my radius is 32 because I divided by 2. We're going to plug it in. I got to know 32 squared. So my area is going to be 1024 pi. To get this, I took pi times 32 squared to get this. I took 64 divided by 2. So in this problem, you found area and circumference. So in this problem, radius is 7.1, so we're going to do pi times 7.1 squared. Here we're going to do 2 times pi times 7.1. So my calculator, pi times 7.1 squared. Top one's going to give me 158.4. Bottom one's going to be 2 times pi times 7.1. 4.6. This one's miles squared. Alright, once again, we're finding area, circumference. First, you got to know that the radius is 8.4. So that means area equals pi times 8.4 squared. This one is 2. Oops. I wrote this. Oops. Again. 2 times pi times 8.4. So let's check out with the calculator. Alright, so pi times 8.4 squared is 221.7. 2 times pi times 8.4 should be 52.8 yards. This is yards squared. Alright, this one we're already given the radius, so area is simply pi times 7.9 squared. Circumference is 2 times pi times 7.9. So let's plug our calculator. First one, I got this one, 49.6 meters. Pi times 7.9 squared is going to be 196.1 meters squared. And there we go.